we're going to do a demo. And Pragya touched on it with the stick of butter. I chose a stick of Crisco because it's white. And there will be some fire involved, but don't worry, I've practiced. You in the front, no worries. And so again, just to talk about the qualities of kapha, as Pragya did, it's slightly sticky, it's unctuous, slightly oily, it's solid, it creates this stability. And when we talk about the systems of kapha, pitta, or vata, there's that you called it biodynamic force? Yeah, bioforce. So there's subtle aspects to everything, but there's also physical aspects when we talk about the doshas. So from July 15th to about January 15th, I want to talk about the sun as well, because we've kind of lost touch with the seasons, and that was one of my problems going through all these. I lost touch with my environment. And the sun moves away from the earth, so it's not as powerful. So I want everyone to imagine this as the sun, and this is the strength of the sun. And when we move this on our kapha, it's not really doing too much. It's actually helping kapha because of the lovely warming and heat that's going on. Kapha is wet, so it likes a little bit of dryness. But then when we go from January 15th to July 15th, then the sun, and look, I figured out the child-proof, becomes this blazing torch. So we want to think about this when we are thinking about our kapha. Okay, so we are going to now look at kapha. Maybe we've been overdoing it in the winter, and we've got this excess. It's a little bit solid now because of the cold. So the sun now is actually a detriment. And when we go out in the sun right away because it's spring and we see the sun, we're so happy, here is our allergies. Coming out of every orifice it can find. So that's my wonderful demonstration. And I also want you to think about the next seasons, because as the sun is moving towards the earth, all the way into July, it gets more and more and more intense. So in the next Sanghas, we'll talk about summer, and then we'll talk about practices that we can do to help us deal with that intensity. So I hope that was helpful to everybody. So I'm going to Pragya gave us a lot of lifestyle to work on, and I'm going to give just a few more. And one is, again, to avoid that direct sun. So, like I said, we're wanting to rip our clothes off and put on our t-shirts and our shorts and run outside and do our gardening and go on long hikes and just get out of the house because we've been cooped up. But the sun, if we go into it now, it's just going to immediately melt that kapha. So does it mean we remain hermits in our homes until July 15th, never to see the sun? No, it just means that we kind of cover up. And if we're going to garden, we're going to wear light long-sleeve shirts. We're going to avoid the sun when it's at its peak. So from 10 to 2, the sun is at its most intense. So a practice that I started in my garden is just to get up early and go outside before 9 o'clock and just pull weeds and sow seeds and whatever I need to do. Or if I want to go for a walk, I will wait until after I get home, so around 5 or 6, then I'll take a walk when the sun is not so intense and beating down. And so, it just means that we remain cautious and mindful of the environment that we're in. In my office, we're already having the air conditioner heater wars, and so one day the air conditioner's on, the next day the heater's on. So we just want to try, we do have to be a little bit flexible in springtime. And we'll wear, floppy hats or anything to keep that sun from touching our skin right now. And as Pragya mentioned, most importantly, is to eat correctly so that we don't have that excess kapha in our body that's just ready to melt as soon as the sun hits us. And you can see the difference in different people because everybody has different constitutions. They've done different things. The sun affects some people one way. It doesn't affect some people. And again, when that is melting, we're blaming all the beautiful flowers and the pollen, but flowers and pollen are there all year round. We have to start training our minds to think about that sun, that environment that we're in, that we're animals being affected by the seasons. And especially in the Bay Area, springtime can be a time when that moist fog rolls in, or like we just had some rain the other day, and it'll be cold and wet and moist, and that's part of what kapha is. So there's an unchanging principle, and it's called like increases like. So now there's wetness and moisture in our macrocosm, and there's also wetness and moisture in our bodies. And kapha loves, this is the home, one of the homes of kapha. So a practice I'd like to give you is to wear a scarf and to cover this area, to cover our neck, to cover our chest, keep it warm. So it's just like a little gentle heater, because once that cold comes in, it's increasing the cold in our bodies. The kapha wants to come out. So just remember those, cover the home of kapha. And then we have a home remedy, which is hot water. So this is just for the spring. And hot water, I have another visual. So hot water is like our cozy blanket. And it's just gently warming us, and it's wrapping, like it's making us feel so good in the morning. So when you wake up, make sure that you head to the teapot first put on your slippers so your feet don't hit a cold floor, but then head to the teapot. If you have time, boil that water for 10 minutes, because that creates this lightness in the water. And if not, just do the teapot. Just do what you can in the morning, because we're building these practices. It's always an art. And we'll visit again next spring, and we'll see how much better we do, how much better we feel. And then your body it starts to crave this warm water. And warm water in our text, or hot water in our text, says it's a skin rejuvenator. It's cleansing the subtle they're called shrotas, the subtle systems in our bodies. It is cleansing our mind. So if you start doing this practice consistently, you'll start to feel a little less foggy in the morning. And I see Jennifer shaking her head, yes. So just remember, that's just one thing I want you to start. Start now and do it until May 15th. We also have a home remedy. And home remedies that we give are really simple, because we know that you have busy lifestyles, so we want to keep it simple. And in Sangha, we keep it simple. So this is just turmeric. And one practice you can do is put 1/8 of a teaspoon of turmeric in your hot water. So the taste of bitter is also helping us to reduce kapha in the spring. So as you're sitting in the morning with your turmeric water, you're thinking about it being a cleanse. We have some turmeric in the back if you want to try it after with your hot water. We're also thinking about cleansing our minds. So kapha can be about stagnation, and it can be about stability, but it can be about stagnation. So what do we want to release in our minds? So give yourself that minute in the morning with your hot turmeric water and say, what do I want to let go of in this season? What relationship, what thoughts, what practice do I want to let go of that I know is not serving me? So we just do a body cleanse and we do a mind cleanse. And I'll talk a little bit about some foods. Now, we have YouTube videos with long, extensive lists of foods. But again, in Sangha, we want to make it simple. We want you to try these things because Ayurveda is about practicing. It isn't about just coming and listening to us. It's about practicing. So when we have our carbs like wheat or rice or our flours, we're going to make sure that we roast them first to make them lighter and digestible. And then we're going to add the taste of bitter. So bitter, pungent, astringent, those are the tastes that reduce kapha. But to make it simple, let's just think about bitter right now. We're going to add methi, which is a fenugreek leaf, and Ashley will be showing that in her demo of the recipe. And we have collards, we have kale, we have chard, spinach, dandelion leaves. Just look at what's in the greens that taste bitter that are in the farmer's market right now. If you can find it, you can use bitter melon, some carrots, or just raw onions sprinkled on top in small amounts. Because bitter, we don't want to do a lot of bitter. And we're used to a sweet, sour, salty diet, everything that raises kapha. So if you're not used to these foods, just do it very slowly until your tongue gets adjusted to the tastes. And then as for spices, I will pass around these. Okay. I'm just going to give you a short list. So we've got cumin seeds or ground cumin, black pepper, turmeric, and fenugreek seeds. Fenugreek, again, is methi. Those you can find in Asian or Indian stores, some specialty stores as well. So again, if you're not used to that taste, just start very, very small, like 1/8 of a teaspoon or less, until you kind of build up a little bit and get used to that taste. And that's also, that bitter taste is also helping us reduce in the body. So we want to think about the two practices. We're reducing kapha and we're reducing And then we have two helpful items that are in our gift shop. One is our natural local honey. I also did a talk on honey last year, so you can find it on the YouTube videos. And just very quickly, it's slightly drying, slightly heating. So we want to use 1 to 2 teaspoons as a safe practice. We want to try to have it in the morning. We'll have our hot water, we'll wait a half an hour, and then we'll have our honey, because we never want to heat honey. And as a beekeeper, I can tell you that this is a very good, safe source, and it's 6 months or older, and we know that. So we also know that it's raw and unadulterated. So think about this. And we also have our spring body scrub. So this is also helping us reduce kapha. And we're going to go in the shower. We're not going to turn the water on because it's a drought. We're just going to get our wet hands a little bit wet. We're going to sprinkle some of this on our body, or you can put it in your hands and make a little paste. And I got this at Crate and Barrel. It's just like a little flower sprinkler, so you can just do that really quickly. And then you want to scrub, 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 scrub. It's got the most wonderful ingredients, and the recipe is from our lineage that comes from the text. And it's helping, that scrubbing action is creating heat, so that's also helping reduce kapha. This was also one of the things that I use in my weight loss regime, and you too probably. So Pragya and I and Prema will be teaching a class sometime in July or August on weight reduction. So I would suggest getting this now and trying it and just working out the logistics. How do I get this into my busy schedule in the morning? So I think I am out of time, way over time. So I just wanted to thank all of you for coming, and happy spring training. Thank you.